As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylines, we have our French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And if you're in the chats, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. Oh boy. And you saw how much trouble Solar had with Baby Marine earlier. Clem, he is that much more crisp when it comes to his timings, when it comes to his pushes, when it comes to his aggression. That's my biggest concern coming into this after seeing Solar versus Baby Marine, is basically whether or not Solar can hold on to a 4th. That's what I'm looking at. I know that that's a little bit down the line. We're expecting like hatch gas pool openers. We're expecting 3cc. Clem, he does like to mix in 2-1-1s, specifically 3cc 2-1-1, but that's also very map dependent. Clem, he loves that on Amygdala, on potentially Neon Violet Square as well. On some of these larger maps, he's willing to go into those earlier stim timings, but here, we'll see. We'll see how he does approach this. Our eyes are going to be on Clem when it comes to his opener, and our eyes are going to be on Solar when it comes to his early game defense to maintain that 4th base. Oh boy. Here we go. As Clem is getting his natural, just a Rax Expand. Reap opener out of Clem. Revert the Zerg nerfs. Revert them. I can see an argument for it. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the next balance patch that we do get in the game is going to revert like a bunch of Zerg nerfs. Like that feels like a bit of an easier way to address certain things in the game, as opposed to coming up with new ideas and new changes. I can definitely see that happening when it comes to like a future patch. Can see that happening. So now we do have a Reaper dancing with the Lings, gets 1. That's 1 Ling so far. Likewise, behind this 3rd CC before Starport. And again, we're expecting 3cc. Oh. He's referring to the Reaper. Oh my god, he went down to like 1 HP. I mean, hey, Reaper survived. Brave, Abby, brave. And I believe he did kill the tumor. No, not quite. I did force a cancel. I mean, behind this 3cc Banshee here from Clem, not going 2-1-1. Important to bear that in mind. Reaper pulls away. Hope so. Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know. In my mind, that's like an obvious change. Like I don't have much like anxiety like about like whether or not that'll happen. I think it's, yeah, pretty confident it's probably gonna happen. Oh, nice pickup. Clem, the Reaper's going to be shut down, but he does take down the tumor. Nicely done. Behind this, Hellion Banshee's on the way. And the goal here for Clem is to maintain pressure, is to deny creep, is to keep Solar pinned at home, and to make it as difficult as possible to save the 4th. When it comes to the 7-minute timing and the 7-minute push. Hellions, they rotate. Their goal here is to deny as much creep as possible. Is to keep Solar contained as best he can. His cloak is on the way. More Hellions are amassing. Hellions are building up. Oh, doesn't quite get the tumor. Do have the 2-1-1 follow-up here. 2 more maxes, getting up to 3. Hellions still rotating. So far, doesn't get any active tumors. So far, Solar is keeping up. Is keeping up. Solar just now going for the scout. It gets eyes on the potentially CC. Doesn't. Yeah, there we go. Does get eyes on the 3rd. Is aware. Banshees they dip in, Spores in position. Solar Safari defends, he holds. But again, as we mentioned, it's about the fourth. It's about the fourth base, and it's going to be delayed. Oh, Drone goes down, massive pickup. Solar does open up Lair first. Lair into delayed tech. Delayed upgrade specifically. We saw this against Baby Marine both in Game 1 and in Game 2. It seems like it's the go-to for Solar. Just Lair first. The Solar's being pinned back. Clem going for the Queen. Plus Transfuse. Queen does survive. Second Banshee does make it out. Clem is rotating. Rotating once again. Getting on top of the Queens. Gets eyes on the expansion. And fourth base under fire. Zero detection, by the way. Lair just not finishing. And these Banshees, they wreak havoc. They distract the Queens. Base is getting lower and lower. We spoke about this, all about denying the fourth. And can we pull it off? It gets low, but it survives. Fourth base does survive. Meanwhile, we're a minute off. We're a minute away here from that Stim timing. Stim is finishing up. Medevacs are on the way, and soon Clem is going to push. And again, that target should be the fourth. Pulls back for now. Does pull back, waiting for the Medevacs. Medevacs have arrived. And the bio is now online. Here comes the Unsiege, and we'll see if Solar can save the expansion. This is the first kind of big test for Solar. His creep is decent. His creep is connecting the bases at least. And there's a little bit of creep outside of the fourth. A little bit. Bathing speed is not ready. Again, it's going to be slow Banes to defend. And with slow Banes, I'll be honest, it's going to be a tough hold. Not impossible. Solar, he might be able to overwhelm. He might have enough lings. Tank Boy's going up. Hellblast, they protect the tank. Second tank has arrived. Bathing speed still a ways up here. Still needs more time. 10 seconds. 10 more seconds. Does collapse in. Ooh, Hellblast, they shut down the flank. And Solar, this is not the best trade here. Yeah, the tank survives. Shuts down the Lings, takes down the Queens. And Solar's in trouble. And he's going to lose the base. He may just lose the base here. He's got 5 Banelings. Does roll in. Oh! Killing some of the fire. Nice target firing at a Clem. Yeah, he shuts down the Banelings. Shuts down the Lings. Barely not. Whew, Solar holds. Solar, he holds on, takes down the tank, and saves the expansion. It got low. It got close. Very close. But Solar, he's barely holding on. Now, what's scary here is that the creep is receding, and Clem's just rallying. He's just rallying across the map. He wants that fourth base. He's not stopping. And even though Solar, he survived the first wave, now can he survive the second wave? This time with more Marines. This time with another tank. Banelings, they roll in. Better spread here from Clem, and he's done it. He's done it. He breaks the fourth. GG gets called. And Clem will take game number 1. GG. Again, there's a reason why we were building up the fourth base defense from even the start of the game. That's usually kind of the big first kind of test for the Zerg player, and it's a tough one to pass. It is a tough one to pass. GG, well played. At Clem at 7 minutes, he does deny the fourth base. The first wave of defense, though, very impressive. Solar, he barely held on, but it was inefficient. You know, I was still leaning towards Clem there because it was a very inefficient fight from Solar. He lost a lot of Ling Bane trying to hold on, trying to survive the first push. Did survive, but it wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. It was too inefficient. In the end, he was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. Clem takes the first game, and we'll see if Solar will have better luck holding on to that fourth base coming into game 2. A lot of it's going to come down to the map as well. I'm curious what the vetoes were and what map we load into. If we load into a larger map, I do favor Solar. Typically, the way things go here in TvZ is that larger maps are typically better for the Zerg player because it means that you have more breathing room. Smaller maps are better for the Terran because those pushes hit even harder. Imagine that game on Ultra Love, on Whispers of Gold as well. That's where that push would be even more terrifying from the side of the Terran. Speaking of larger maps, we do have a larger map. We're loading into Amygdala. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. I mentioned before at the start of Game 1 how Clem specifically is fond of 3cc 2-on-1s on Amygdala. The reasoning for this is because of the way that the map works and because of the way the attack paths are structured on Amygdala. There's very limited attack paths, so it is easier for the queens to deflect Hellions, so it is more difficult for Hellions to really get much value in the early game. So this is where I would say that it's a little bit more possible that we might see a 2-on-1 instead of Clem. Might see a 2-on-1 instead, we'll see. So keep an eye on our Terran. And when I say 2-on-1, I mean 3cc 2-on-1. We'll get there. As we load into game 2, we load into Amygdala. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our French Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. We'll see if Solar can cause an upset. We'll see if he can force the ace match at least. I would love to see a game 3. I'd love to see an ace match, but the pressure is on Solar. Likewise, Clem. We'll see if he does go for an earlier stim timing. Now, going to be settling in. He might feel confident enough to still open up Hellion anyway. Like a 1-1-1, I mean. Might be confident enough to embrace that. Until then, though, standard openers. You know, hatch gas pool into a third base out of Solar. Clem going Rax expand into his factory. And welcome one and all to Amygdala. What I was referencing earlier is just... Hello. That's a late gas. Solar going hatch pool into a delayed gas geyser. Interesting. Is he going gasless? Oh, that is risky. Okay. Okay, Dark. I see. So Solar, he is going gasless. Bold move. Bold move. Now, winding it back a little bit, I'm referring to Amygdala. I was referring to the attack paths. We have one attack path here towards the top side. We have one attack path here towards the bottom side. That's really all we have in the early game. Like, these rocks, they kind of stop any kind of rotations from the Hellion Banshee. So that is why we do see Clem often, not always, but often open up 3cc 2-on-1 instead, going into an earlier sim timing and foregoing Hellion production. Meanwhile, Solar is going gases. So hatch pool into a third base. This is risky, this is greedy, and this can be punished if Clem realizes what's going on. Clem, he scouts, he does see the earlier third. Big scout. Does see the early third base. This should be gasless, and as a result, Clem, he may respond with a 1-1-1 without a third CC. But he's building up his minerals. Reaver breaks in. Does poke in. Dancing with the army. My eyes are on Clem. What are we going for? Okay. As he is throwing down his add-ons. And there it is, third CC. Okay, he's going for a third CC. And we'll see what the follow-up is going to be here. As Solar is cutting corners. Just now getting to his gases. Now, it's very common here when you open up gasless to just skip link speed and go straight into roaches because your link speed is so delayed anyway. But this gas is relatively fast compared to what we used to from someone like Dark, for example. Yeah, he pulls out. Solar, he pulls out. No roaches. Behind this, 3cc 1-1-1. Okay, is going for the tried and true Hellion into Banshee. Reaper goes for the dive. I wonder if Clem recognized how late link speed was. Did see the slow links. Did see the slow links. Poking him once again. And we'll see if Clem can punish Solar. So far has been unable to. Clem being forced further back. Oh, okay, that is not Banshee. That is going to be 3cc into Liberator instead. Interesting. Now, what this means here is that this means there is going to be faster stim. It means that there's no add-on swap, so the tech lab stays on the racks, which means stim will begin earlier here for Clem. And of course, he can undergo faster bioproduction. Getting to those Marines. Instead of going for the add-on swap. We'll see what Clem can get done. Likewise, this gaseous opener does mean that Solar has a boosted economy. He has more drones. He has extra lava early on. Overlord comes in, the Overlord will confirm the build of choice. Solar, he sees Tech Lab on the rack, so he knows he doesn't need Spores for Banshee defense, but will need Spores for Liberator defense. Here comes the first move out. And you can see here, the Spore here is outside of the mineral line, same towards the top side as well. So these Spores are in position for Libs. Speaking of, first Liberator has arrived. Hellions, they go for the dive. Uh-oh, and the mineral line's gonna get roasted. Lings, there are not enough of them, not enough Lings. Solar, he was cutting corners, barely had any army. He was droning the entire time, and drones are getting roasted. Oh no! They do line up for a moment. 8 drones go down, already brutal damage. And this is already getting out of hand. The advantage that Solar once had, not quite there anymore. Liberator popping up. Hellions are going to be cleaned up. Solar, he will lock this down. But that was still 10 drone kills. 10 workers for 8 Hellions. With that, Clem does take an economic lead. And Clem is getting into his own setup here. Now, it's still going to take another minute before Clem moves out. Right now, Solar, there's a lot of pressure. Does come in for the surround. Ooh, but Sim is done. Remember, Stim was done earlier. And there's a tank in position. So Clem does defend. He defends, he holds. Solar now getting into faster Evo chambers. Okay, so once again, greedier play out of Solar. Goes double Evo chamber before the lair. So faster upgrades this time. Again, really greedy play here by Solar. And these are the corners you need to cut against Clem. You need to cut those corners. Try and get away with as much as you can. And have that advantage. Meanwhile, Clem is about to push. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the medivacs. We have 2 medivacs on the way. Once they arrive, Clem is going to move out. Now, because of the openers, though, these 4th bases were double expanding, and even if Solar loses one, he will have the other. So Solar's in a much better position here. Likewise, 1-1 upgrades are going to finish up in time. Here comes the move out. And it looks like Clem, he's not too confident here. Unlike the previous game, he leaves the tanks at home. So Clem, he knows that most likely Solar's going to defend. Like, most likely Solar's going to be okay. So he's just going to trade. He's going to poke in. Pick off a couple of tumors. 1-1 about to finish up. And Solar defends. Solar, he does defend initially. Now Clem, he should have noticed that there was no bailing speed. There we go. Now he moves out with his real force. Now here comes the main push. It is delayed. I do think that Clem could have been more successful earlier, just because of how late bailing speed is. But because he's taken so much time, bailing speed is going to finish up. So this is all better for Solar, as Clem was tentative. Despite that, very nice spread of tanks. Yeah, Solar, he just abandons the base. He abandons the base, going for a massive link counterattack instead. Back at home, there are some Marines. And he should be able to hold on without losing too much. Bailey's rolling in. Clemmy notices. He pulls away. Clemmy defends back at home. Oh! Gonna get surrounded though. He does get caught out. But the expansion is gonna fall. So a nice pick off here from Clem. Takes down the fort. But remember, Solar, he double expanded. He saved the drones. Solar is still surviving at least. There's a lot of creep to work through. There's a lot of creep. And I'm curious, does he rotate towards the south side, or does he keep pushing? He's going to rotate. Clem, he rotates, he backs up. Solar, he has time to build up. Alas, Clem was more efficient, straight up. Like Solar, he lost how much already? 100 lings! 100 lings for 28 Marines. Oh boy, like it's been a rough trade here for Solar. And, I mean, that's why there's that supply disparity. Bailings roll in. Tank gets caught on siege. Better start to the fight. Solar shuts down the tank, but there's another tank on the high ground. Marines, they do stim forward. And Solar, he's in trouble here. Oh, diving forward once again. Tanks, they do siege up, they shut down the Banelings. And Banelings go down, and there's nothing left. GG gets called. That's all that Solar had remaining. And Clem, he will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Just very efficient pickoffs there by Clem. Even though Solar did double expand, even though he still had a 4th base, Solar, he lost so much Link Bane in the lead up to that defense. He was just trading too poorly, and Clem did over well. GG. GG, well played. Once again, just a battle of the 4th here, both in Game 1 and Game 2. And with that, Clem does advance on to the Grand Finals to face off against his next opponent. Let's go. There's one series remaining here in the broadcast. In the tournament, it's going to be a best of 5 between Hero and Clem. Let's go.